made you move to the contemporary in crime fiction?
Yeah, I was really, as I said earlier, I was really rather scared, I think, of trying to write about the current scene. As I felt I'd concentrated on the Victorian things and the years afterward. Even, you know, the 1946 book that we just were talking about was about the latest that I'd written about. So they were all retrospective books of one kind or another, and I just thought I was sort of funking it in a way, and I like to try different things as much as I can. I like to sort of move on, do something different, but I've written a few short stories, and they were contemporary. Although they didn't draw much on police methods and things, they gave me a bit of confidence. And eventually, I thought I'll try and do something featuring a modern detective. And I lived in Bath, or near Bath at that time. And I thought, well, it seems sensible to have a detective who works out of the city of Bath and give him a real workplace in Manvers Street, where the police station was at that time, and build a little team around him, because I wanted it to be a kind of police procedural thing. I was very honoured that years back, when I'd won the Silver Dagger for the book Waxwork, Ed McBain, Evan Hunter, as his real name, or as he was also known, his real name is an Italian name that I can't pronounce. But Ed McBain, of course, really pioneered the police procedural novel, and he was a great encouragement, and said to me then, you know, are you going to do anything like this? You could do something on the British side, and it sort of stayed with me for years, and occasionally I would see Ed, and he would say, "Have you done that police procedural book yet?" No, I said, I'm a little scared of doing that. But in the end, I got round to it, and so Diamond, my character, has a team, and they feature in the books, and some of them move off and go to different things, because he's a difficult man to work with. They can't stand him, some of them. He's not easy at all. He's a bit clumsy, and he's a bit of a bully, but basically, deep down, he's a man with integrity, and he's a good detective. So that's why it's quite an interesting exercise, seeing how the rest of his team react to him. And they've all got, their individual personalities as well.
And you've taken one of the characters into a mini sub-series of her own, haven't you?
Yes, oh yes, yes, that's right.
It's part of the freshness, I think, of Peter's approach, which he's mentioned, that you read the Diamond books, and the series has been running, 20 years or more now, but each one is different. It's not formulaic ever, and the latest one, it goes in all sorts of unexpected directions, as many of them do. And this is part of the fascination of Peter's work. He's never content just to do the same thing. He would also enjoy great success if he did do just the same thing, but he's always trying something fresh to this day, and it's part of the reason why he's remained a top writer for so many marvellous years. The Detection Club, which Peter's been a member for more years than he cares to remember, honoured him on his 80th birthday last year. We put together an anthology of stories. It's called Motives for Murder, and each story by a range of members of the club, friends of Peter, each story is prefaced by a personal account of that writer's experience of Peter. And it's a book which apart from anything else, shows the very, very high esteem in which he's held by his fellow writers, as well as by so many fans all over the world.
Well, sorry, if I can interrupt for a moment. I had the honour and the privilege of editing a book for the Detection Club that was a tribute to HRF Keating, who was the president of the club. And I see Sheila, his wife, is sitting in the audience, and it was a joy to do a similar thing when Harry reached his 80th birthday.
Yes, it was. That was a terrific book. Yes, yes. Now we have time for questions to Peter. So who wants to be the first with a question?
Oh.
It's more an observation. He's also incredibly funny. I mean, Keystone just had me rolling around the room in fits of laughter. It's so masterly the way you make the characters, real characters and fictitious characters meld. And as I said, that's an observation, but I think the humour in your work really brings the fans back all the time.
Oh, that's very kind. Thank you very much. I do find it sort of creeps in, even if I intend to write a fairly serious book. At one time, I thought I was returned to the Victorian series with the ones that Martin mentioned, the Bertie series, and the first book was to be called Bertie and the Tin Man, and it was about the famous Victorian jockey Fred Archer, and I thought at the beginning I'd like to do a sort of Victorian Dick Francis, but in the end it turned out to be nothing like Dick Francis, although it had a horse racing character at the centre of it and a theme, but the sort of the funny side of things tended to creep in, and Bertie was an unreliable narrator. You have to read between the lines to understand what is really going on, although it's supposedly written by him.
And in terms of humour, Bertie and the Seven Bodies, which is a sort of pastiche Agatha Christie in a way, is an incredibly entertaining book, well worth looking out for. Another question. Lady here.
Yeah, yesterday we talked about your book, The Reaper.
Oh yes.
And Rose said it's mind-blowing because it's so fast-paced, and actually it's one of my favourite books. And Peter said,
yes, it is my
agrees.
My favourite
I just
too.
wanted to know the inspiration for this book.
Oh.
Is it?
Yes, I lived in a village.
Yeah.
I'm not going to name the village. I better not. But we had a series of different vicars there. The Reaper is a wicked vicar who unfortunately is siphoning off some of the funds from the church, and the bishop discovers it and comes along to do the accounts with him, and the vicar decides the only way out is really to murder the bishop in the first chapter of the book. So he picks up a glass paperweight of St. Paul's and cracks it on the bishop's head, and so then he's got a body, and we sort of the story moves on from there. But it was fun. It's a black comedy, I suppose you could say, and I very much enjoyed writing it and writing about village life, which I knew quite well from having lived in a village about 20 years.
It has some Agatha Christie bits in it.
I suppose,
yeah.
Yes.
That's right.
What are some of the areas that you are looking forward to writing about? What are some of the aspirations?
Oh gosh, yes, at my age I don't think I should be looking forward to it. At the moment I'm still content to write this Diamond series set in Bath, because I think there are various possibilities and things that I haven't yet done. The next book will be called Beau Deaf, and it's about Beau Nash and Diamond coming into investigating a story connected with Beau Nash, who was the man who, more than anything, made Bath fashionable in the early 18th century, early 19th century. So, yes.
Follow up? Have you ever